Hey y'all, it's me again. I just been somewhat busy yesterday, so I wasn't able to post, but here I am again. So this one's called Am I the Butthole for Breaking Up with My Boyfriend Because He Forgot Me at the Airport? I, a 28-year-old female, have been in a long-distance relationship for about 5 months with Eric, a 28-year-old male, fake name. He lives in a town that either takes 12 hours to drive to, 7 hours by train, or an hour flight. Valentine's Day was coming up, so I bought a flight to go see him so we could spend a week together and celebrate together. When I got up in the morning, I started seeing him snaps of me getting to the airport and about being excited to see him. When I got to the airport, I messaged him that I would see him in a bit, but there was no reply. This is when my gut feeling started telling me something was off. I pushed it away, hoping that I was just overreacting. When I landed, I messaged him that I would see him soon, but got no reply. I was still hoping so hard. When the arrival door opened, I was so hopeful that he was there, but in the end, I was heartbroken to see he wasn't. I felt so undervalued and embarrassed because I started crying in a corner of the airport. I had only come to the city to see him and I was staying with him. So what was I gonna do? I called him over and over to no reply. They decided, F him, I'm gonna go do my own thing. I ended up at a pub drinking tea. And after about an hour there, he messaged me, not called, but sent me a damn message. His excuse was that he had fallen asleep and that he was sorry. I honestly felt so betrayed because how can I not be worth setting a damn alarm? In the end, I ended up staying with him because I couldn't afford a hotel or to change my flight, and that's when I found out that he was staying up late at night playing video games. When I got home, I decided that I couldn't be with someone who undervalues me so much and broke up with him. At the time, he agreed, but now he sent me a love letter declaring his love and that he's sorry for everything and doesn't want to lose me. I feel like I'm overthinking things. I just need some advice. Did I overreact to him not picking me up at the airport? Am I the butt for breaking up with my boyfriend because he forgot me at the airport? Edit to clarify. We made these plans together 2 months before I left. He was well aware of when and where I was arriving, and he was the one who offered to come get me. Secondly, I posted here about this now because I just received a love letter today. Some of OOP's comment. How they met. He's originally from my state, so he comes here often to see his family. We met online and spent a couple weeks dating before he went off to university. So mostly long distance, I guess. Update. Almost 1 year later. But to be clear, the cringe is me hilariously dumb, but cringe all the same. I've hesitated to post this because if this gets back to him, he'll definitely know it's about him. It's been almost a year since I, a 29-year-old female, posted my story about breaking up with my ex, a 20-year-old male. And I just want to give a quick thank you to everyone who reached out and reality checked me. I needed it. Y'all are the bomb. Now on to my update. So I took y'all's advice-ish and stuck to my guns about being broken. But I'm the kind of person who hates being the bad guy, so I told him we'd still be friends and he accepted. Looking back, I definitely think he was hoping for another chance. We kept hanging out every so often and it was a good time. A couple of weeks go by and I met someone new and I wanted to do the right thing and tell my ex in person. So after I hang out, I'm walking with him to the bus, nervous AF, because I hate confrontation. I'm thinking, crap, it's now or never. So I took a breath to proceed. So I wanted to tell you something because I wanted to be honest with you. Okay. I wanted to let you know that I started seeing someone and, give you a heads up. I had a nightmare last night where you told me you were dating someone and now this happened. has no idea what the F to say to that. Brain blackout. I have no idea what the F came over me, but I proceeded to raise my hand to give a jazz hand to say in a kind of chalked out small voice, "You have powers!" Now to this day, I still don't know why the F I did what I did. It still cracks me up. I mean, where the heck did that come from? My friends think it's hilarious, and my mom just gave me a high five while laughing. My ex has turned around and walked into the darkness, and I haven't seen or heard from him since. I guess I unlocked a secret hack in the game of life. I hope you all enjoy the story as much as I do. The end. Edit. Did you clean up the post? Edit 2. Saw some comments and want to clarify this happened a few weeks after the last post. Edit 3. Okay, some info from the other post. My ex is originally from my city and visits his family. That's how we would hang out after the breakup. Okay, that's funny. How's your relationship with your current partner going? It didn't really go anywhere, but he was a good guy all the same. Thanks for asking. Turns out, yeah, powers too. You made your ex disappear. Lol. Right? Timeline clarification. Well, just to be clear, this happened a couple weeks after my first post. So yes, I should have just gone zero contact in the first place. But at least it wasn't you. You live and you learn. At least I have an epic story to tell. Right? I mean, like... And this is what one commenter said. What I don't understand is why you wanted to do the right thing and tell him that you were seeing someone new when you already broken up with him. At that point, if you're seeing someone, it is none of his business regardless of him being next. And this is what OP said. That's a fair point, and to be honest, I've been in therapy and I've worked on a lot of boundaries, so I would like to think I would handle this situation differently today. At the time the breakup was mutually agreed upon, and we both then decided to just silently not talk or see each other again. I think if I'm being honest, the whole staying friends thing was a bad idea, and the letting him know I'm seeing someone thing is an idea I picked up from media, thinking it was normal. You live and learn, I guess. OP adds. But yeah, after the letter, I should have seen that staying friends was not okay. I mean, like, staying friends with your ex is okay sometimes, because my boyfriend is still somewhat friends with his ex-girlfriends. He has two other ones. He has two ex-girlfriends, and now he has me, his current girlfriend. But yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, like, I wish he wouldn't be still friends with his ex-girlfriends, because I feel like that sometimes he could go back to them anytime he wants to, you know? I mean, like, yeah, but I can't, like, tell him not to see them anymore. But anyways, yeah, he's still friends with them. He still says that he's only in love with me. Well, we'll see. This one's called My Wife Said Something Strange About Her Ex, and it's really getting to me. I'm a 31-year-old male, and she's a 31-year-old female. My wife and I have been married for 4 years. I'll call her Abby. We love each other, have a great marriage, and are talking about having kids soon. I really don't have any complaints. But before Abby met me, she was with a guy, Brock, for 2 years. She said she was madly in love with him, but had to leave him because he was verbally abusive. Shortly after she left Brock, she met me, and the rest is history. I thought it went without saying that Abby had forgotten about Brock. However, there have been some odd things that she had said about him that make me nervous or even a little jealous. She once told me that Brock was so good looking that she had a hard time making eye contact. This was in the context of a conversation about why she put up with his abuse for so long. When I replay what she said, she's never said that I was too good looking to look at. It's almost like she said Brock was more attractive and it hurt. I didn't bring this up though because she sometimes gets upset when I mention Brock. There's also been a few times where she mentioned something that Brock used to do, and she's had this wistful look on her face, almost like she was still enamored with him. This wasn't 100% clear though, and it didn't happen often, so I let it slide. I told Abby in the past that I felt a little jealous because Brock seemed like a more attractive man than me, but she assured me that she didn't think of him that way and she loved me. All this being said, my wife said something a bit odd about Brock 2 nights ago, and it's messing with my head. We were sitting on the couch watching Netflix, and Abby had been drinking a bit. We somehow got on the subject of feet and how we both thought feet were gross, and didn't understand why some people liked feet. I held my bare foot and said something like, "Can you imagine someone liking my feet? I have gross feet." Abby laughed and agreed that my feet were gross. This wasn't particularly hurtful, her tone was playful. Then after a few seconds, Abby said, "The only person's feet I would ever consider attractive is Brock's feet. He had the most beautiful feet." As you can imagine, this killed the conversation, but Abby didn't seem to know. She was staring off into space. I just went back to watching TV. The next morning when we woke up, she acted like nothing happened. Maybe she really didn't remember because she was drunk and it was an offhand remark. But it's been bugging me for the past couple of days. Not just because it was about Brock, but because my feet were ugly and then said his were beautiful. Maybe it's silly, but it made me feel really insecure and jealous. Abby has noticed that something is off about me. She asked early this morning if something is wrong. I denied it, but I don't think I could just forget about this like I want to. I'm thinking I'll need to sit down with her and talk about the Brock situation. We are cooped up together for the next 2 weeks at least, so that makes things complicated. But it's not like one of us can leave if the conversation goes sour. And I hope that it doesn't come to that, but any advice on how to reach this subject? Should I broach it at all? Final update, 3 days later. So I actually tried to post this the very next morning while replies to my first post were still stringing in because I talked to Abby almost immediately and considered the issue largely settled. Automod deleted, so I've had to wait a couple of days. In hindsight, I'm glad I had to wait because it gave me more time to consider the responses I received. First of all, I want to thank everyone who responded yesterday. Unfortunately, I did receive a bit of a bizarre advice. A number of users called my wife an alpha widow, still as a told me to divorce her immediately because she must be cheating. I had a few users calling my wife a bitch. This was a sobering reminder that anonymous internet people don't understand the nuances of my marriage, and people tend to project their own insecurities onto other people's situations. So advice anyone considering posting here. Use discretion with advice you take. Just to get ahead of some of the speculation, Brock has lived in South Korea for 2 years. He is prohibited by court order from contacting Abby, and I have open access to her DMs anyway. If she were cheating, I'd be the first to know. I also received some great advice about trauma bonding and recovering from abusive exes. These responses were almost helpful. All to say, here's what I posted about that night. I was sitting on the bed last night just kind of brooding when Abby came. She sat on the bed next to me, looked at me. She must have known something was up because I haven't been myself these last few days. In our bedroom has been dead since her feet calming. Abby asked me if everything was okay. I gave her a worried smile and said no, I suppose not. She She finally asked if we could talk about it. I sighed heavily and was quiet for a few moments. Abby didn't look nervous or defensive. She looked genuinely concerned, so I figured she must not be aware of how hurtful her Brock comments have been, and I should just be honest. I started by asking if she was willing to be 100% honest with me. She said that she was. So then I asked if she's happy being married to me, and if she preferred being with someone else instead. She seemed a little taken back by the question and said she would never dream of marrying someone else. My voice was shaking the whole time. Abby looked like she was ready to cry too. Finally, I lay everything out. I told Abby that a few nights ago we were talking about feet, and she had said that my feet were gross, but Brock's feet were beautiful. I said maybe it sounds really silly and dumb, but that comment made me feel really ugly and it broke my heart. She gasped and started crying at this point. I said there's been a few other times she mentioned Brock and acted like she really missed him because she sounded enamored when she talked about him. I said I think that Brock was probably a lot more attractive than me, and she would have preferred staying with him over me. Abby cried for a long time before she was able to say anything. It was probably only 2 minutes, but it felt like forever. She said she didn't realize that she was mentioning Brock that way and upsetting me so much. She said she couldn't imagine marrying anyone else but me. I said, even though I'm uglier than Brock? And she started crying and like really bawling. After she pulled herself together again, she admitted that Brock was a very attractive man and that she had been infatuated with him. It seemed extremely difficult for her to get those words out. But Brock had also been controlling and incredibly cruel. She never felt safe or at ease with him, but she did feel safe with me. She said she had married me and wanted children with me, and that she had even dreamed of marrying Brock. She had never even dreamed of marrying Brock, let alone having kids with him. Then we talked about some deeper, more personal stuff that I'd rather not go into here. I did mention some of the trauma bonding that stuff that some Redditors had mentioned last night, and Abby admitted that she had felt addicted to the drama while she was with Brock. She agreed to talk with her counselor about her unresolved issues with that past relationship. The conversation took well over an hour and we both cried a lot, but I did feel much better afterwards. We cuddled for a while before I joked that I guess Abby was stuck with my nasty feet for life. She took my head in her hands and said she thought I had the most beautiful feet in the world because they were mine. We made out and made love for the first time in a week. Maybe that's TMI, but I figured a lot of folks here would appreciate a happy ending. So I guess the issue is largely settled. I do think that maybe I overreacted a little, but my feelings at being inadvertently made to feel less attractive were real. I'm glad I didn't second guess my emotions and suppress them. Thank you to everyone who offered advice in the original thread. It seems the situation has been resolved. Edit. So I will add that I still feel a little sad that I am not as attractive as Abby's ex. Not because I'm jealous, but because I want to be the best she's ever had in every way, including physically. But I guess I simply have to make peace with the fact that I'm not the most attractive guy Abby has been with. I suppose a lot of us have to make peace with that, huh? Edit 2. I appreciate all your kind words. I would like to add that I do not consider the situation magically over, but I count it as resolved because Abby and I are both moving in the right direction and actively working on fixing them. I would also like to add that even with the positive update, I'm seeing some disappointing comments. You're just saying that I'm immature, that my wife is definitely totally cheating on me. I am a troll making this whole thing up because my writing style isn't very good. That this sub is a terrible place to share a serious marital issue, and I shouldn't have done it, etc., etc. I also have interesting PMs trying to rope me into some kind of anti-woman community, and one instructing me to kill myself. I've read that Reddit can be toxic, but this has been eye-opening. I do want to post an update maybe a month down the road, but I do think in light of all this negativity, maybe I'll just leave things here. There's a lot that I did not post here, and I mean a lot. It's understandable that some people are treating this as their blank canvas to protect their own insecurities. Thank you to everyone who provided positive and constructive criticism. Wow. Well, I'm glad that they were able to resolve everything. Because they deserve to, you know? So she just has some insecurities of her own. And she was just accidentally, so, yeah. She had just had some insecurities of her own. This one is called, this is from r/malicious compliance. And this one is called management said we had to work 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. So we did, and Letton did was explain to our California clients why we weren't available. So this happened a while ago before remote work was even a concept. Think 2008-ish. I was working at a large media agency, and for anyone who knows agency work, we typically work around our client's schedule, or at least as best as possible. We were based in New York City, but had California clients, so it was pretty standard. We get in at 10 a.m. and leave at 7 to 8 p.m. If you stayed to 9 p.m., you could take a car service home, so we said they just did that. Most of us were in our 20s, so no big deal. When a new CEO started, he was used to working in Europe and hated that we were in the office at 8 a.m. and forced a company policy that we had to be in the office from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We, of course, followed the rules because who wouldn't want to leave at 5? Let's just say the policy was lifted within 2 weeks when our West Coast clients couldn't get in touch with us. Oh my god. Oh my god. Why fix if it ain't broken? Anyway, thanks for, please rate, comment, and subscribe down below. Comment on what stories you want me to read next, okay? Bye.